Welcome back everybody. So in today's video we will discuss about linear regression with multiple variables. So in previous videos we discussed about linear regression with one variable where we used to take x as a single variable and used to decide our output y from there. But here, wait a minute, before we start there are some notations that you must remember. So here n represents number of features, that is the number of x, and m represents the number of examples. So the number of examples, say you have a house price, and say you have $1,000 or $2,000, $5,000, $8,000. So there will be four examples. So this is m here. So let me just erase this. And now let's move on. Now xi. So x superscript I represents the input of ith example. Here, before we talk about these anymore, let's just look at advice. So here superscript I, the superscript I we are using at xi will represent rows values. So let's say you have house size, then you have number of beds. So let's say house size is 500 square meters, that's a lot, and you have 10 bedrooms. So here the xi x1 will be this will be a vector. So if you haven't watched our previous videos, that's why they are important, because we will be moving using vectors in our further videos. And the xij will represent the value of feature j in the ith example. So here the another important advice is that subscript j, here xij, here j represents the column value. So let's say we want to get x1 and say 2. So this value will be here 10, since x1 will be this first row. So yes, this first row, and the 2 here will represents the second value. So that's how this works. Let me just erase this. So these are some of the important notations. So now you have got the notations. Let's just explore with some examples. So let's just erase this. And now, so here there is one example of house prediction system. So let's say we have size of the house, then number of bedrooms present in the house, then number of floors, how it is one story building or multi-story building, then age of the house, then the price. So let's say we give it an input of these four values. So with that, n will be equals to 4. So our n equals to 4, since we have 4 features, and our output will be this, our price, which our function want to predict. So now this will be x1. Let me just write x1, x2, sorry, x1, x2, x3, and x4. So these are our four features. And to predict m, here there will be more examples downward. So let me just give 3 dots to represent more examples. Say that we have m equals to 50. Say we have 50 examples. You, actually we need more than that to fit in a, or say a function which will predict our price. Then we need to have more examples. about 1000 or so on. And the number of features also not so great, since they are very less. We need much more, like location and the taxes, the renovation cost, and multiple many things. So this will be a very high level algorithm. So let's say for a 2100 square feet house, there are four bedrooms and two floors are there, and its age is about 50 years ago it was made. Then we feed in a 460k value, so that will be about 4600,000, approximately 500k. That's 460k. No, sorry, 4 460k, yes. So now we have given these values. We have represented them to n or m or x1, x2, x3. Now let me just show you what will be x superscript 1. So as I have told you that 1 here represents the rows. So it will be this thing. This will be the row vector. So let me just make some space. So our x1 will be equals to a vector where we can represent this in any way. We can just write in horizontal, or sorry, in vertical or in horizontal. So let's just write in horizontal 2100, then 4, then 2, then 50. So these are our four inputs, these are our four features. So this how we will represent a vector here. So now everything is done, let's just move on. So I will tell you about now the hypothesis function using multiple variables. Last time we done about one variable, so let's continue with that. So now let's move on hypothesis function. So earlier what we does is h subscript theta x equals to theta 0 plus theta 1 x, where theta 0 equals to 0, sorry, here it will be 1. And similarly here theta 0 will be equals to 1. But here in this case we have taken h of theta x superscript I subscript j. So that will be equals to theta 0 plus theta 1 x1 plus theta 2 x2 theta 3 x3 and so on. It will continue. So now what we have taken here is I constant, but if it was not constant then we have to write another terms for them. So let's move on to that. So in this case our x will be equal to a vector where x01, then x02, then x03, x04 and so on. This will be our first column. Then x11, x12, x13, x14 and so on. Then x21, x22, x23, x24 and so on. There will be more. And here x0, which will be 1 as written before. This was done to simplify the equation, nothing else. And here x01 will be also equals to 1. So that's how it works. Sorry, here x10 will be there. Let me just rub it and make it correct. So that will be x10 and so on. So these all will be equals to 1. Now you have looked into x. Now let's look into theta. So here for simplicity I have taken only one column. So that will be x0, x1, x2, x3 and up to xn. So this will be a rn plus 1 vector. and this will be actually 1 comma 1 represents, sorry, so this will be a n plus 1 comma 1 vector, where n plus 1 will number of rows and 1 will be number of column. And similarly here at theta we have taken a single row where theta 0, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 and up to theta n are there. So this will be also a rn plus 1 vector. So as you all know that for their multiplication we just write, we have to do one of them as a transpose. So now as you have looked there about theta and x, now our hypothesis will be h theta x will be equals to rho of theta 0, theta 1, theta 2, or wait a minute, so our theta will be theta 0, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 and up to theta n, and this will be multiplied by a x, x1, x2, x3 and up to xn. So these will be our vectors multiplication, and this will be simply as theta transpose x. So this is the simplest form in which it can be written. So our theta transpose x will be equals to theta transpose x. So that's our final form of hypothesis function. And here as usual this will be equals to 1, theta 0 will be equals to 1. And that's all for today. This is the final topic I want to, sorry, this is the final topic about hypothesis function. Since linear variable is done, now multivariable is also done, so that's almost done. So if you liked this video and if you want to share this with your friend, I really appreciate that. And just subscribe to our channel if you like our content, and see you in the next video. And before I go on, I'm sorry about the delay in the videos, since my exams are going, so I was not able to make videos. So sorry about that.